Anna Prescott sat at the head of a sleek conference table, the city skyline glittering behind her. The tension in the room was palpable as her team presented the dismal sales report for Pure Glow, the eco-friendly skincare line she had poured her heart into. Charts and graphs painted a grim picture. High costs, confusing branding, and poor retail placement, one of her executives said, avoiding eye contact. The customers just aren't connecting with it. Anna leaned back in her chair, her sharp gaze cutting through the excuses. So, what you're telling me is that we made a product nobody wants? After investing millions? The room fell silent. No one dared to answer. Frustrated, Anna dismissed the meeting and retreated to her office. She stared at the glossy promotional materials on her desk, feeling an unfamiliar pang of doubt. Was she so far removed from her customers' reality? She thought of her upbringing in a modest neighborhood long before she became the face of Prescott Enterprises. How had she lost touch? That evening, as she sipped her coffee in the solitude of her penthouse, an idea struck her. Go undercover. If her team couldn't understand their customers, maybe she could. Anna knew it was risky, absurd, but it felt like the only way to get real answers. The next week, Anna walked into Sunshine Supermarket under a new identity. Wearing a discount store blouse, jeans, and sneakers, she introduced herself as Annie, a new hire. Her polished accent and awkward movements drew curious glances from the other employees, but no one said anything except Jack Thompson, the manager. Jack was in his mid-30s, with dark hair perpetually tousled and a sharp jawline shadowed with stubble. He exuded an air of authority that made everyone sit up straighter when he entered the room, but his eyes held a wariness that hinted at long hours and heavier burdens. "You're late," Jack said, glancing at his watch as Anna stepped into the break room. His voice was calm, but his tone was clipped. "Traffic," Anna mumbled, adjusting the ill-fitting apron she'd been given. Jack raised an eyebrow. "This isn't Manhattan. Traffic here means a tractor stalled on Main Street." Anna bit her tongue, swallowing a sharp retort. Instead, she forced a polite smile. "I'll do better tomorrow." Jack handed her a clipboard without another word and gestured toward the aisles. "You're on shelf-stocking duty. Let's see if you can manage that." As Anna stacked canned goods under the fluorescent lights, she felt a pang of humiliation. Was this what her customers experienced daily? The repetitive labor? The monotony? She wasn't used to being underestimated, but she knew better than to let her frustration show. Throughout the day, she observed everything. Families juggling tight budgets, elderly shoppers scrutinizing every price tag, and harried parents trying to manage kids while checking off their grocery lists. It was a world she hadn't seen in years, and it left her feeling strangely disconnected. At the end of her shift, Anna approached Jack for feedback, determined to make a good impression. "How'd I do?" she asked, wiping her forehead. Jack looked up from his clipboard, his expression unreadable. "You didn't break anything. That's a start." Anna frowned. "That's it? No constructive criticism?" Jack leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. "You want honesty? Fine. You don't belong here. You stick out like a sore thumb, and it's clear you've never had to do this kind of work before." Anna bristled, but kept her tone light. "Everyone starts somewhere." Jack smirked, though it didn't reach his eyes. "Sure, just don't expect any handouts. Around here, you earn your place." As Jack walked away, Anna clenched her fists. She wasn't here to make friends, but his dismissive attitude lit a fire in her. If Jack thought she couldn't handle the job, she'd prove him wrong. That night, as Anna collapsed onto the lumpy mattress of her rented apartment, she replayed the day in her mind. Jack's words stung more than she wanted to admit, but they also gave her a sense of purpose. For the first time in years, she felt a challenge she couldn't solve with money or power. "Let's see how this plays out," she muttered to herself, her determination hardening. Little did she know, her mission would soon become far more personal than she had ever intended. The hum of fluorescent lights and the faint scent of detergent filled the air as Anna stood at the register, scanning items for a young mother juggling a squirming toddler. The boy's tiny hands grabbed for the colorful candy bars by the counter while his mother muttered a frantic apology. Anna smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry. Happens all the time," she said, sliding the candy out of reach and distracting the boy with a toy from a nearby display. "Thank you," the woman sighed. "It's been one of those days." Anna watched as the woman carefully counted out crumpled bills to pay for the groceries, her face tight with concentration. For the first time, Anna truly noticed how much every dollar mattered to some people. It struck her in a way no sales chart ever had. Later that day, Anna joined the team in the break room for lunch. It was a cramped, cluttered space with mismatched chairs and a vending machine that occasionally spat out the wrong snack. She took a seat in the corner, hoping to blend in, but her presence seemed to draw attention. "Hey, new girl," called Marcy, a bubbly cashier with a sharp wit. "What's your deal? You're not from around here, are you?" Anna froze for a moment before offering a practiced laugh. "Is it that obvious?" "Pretty much," Marcy said, popping open a soda can. "No offense, but you've got this city girl trying to rough it vibe." Jack walked in just in time to catch the end of the conversation. "Leave her alone, Marcy," he said, grabbing a cup of coffee. "Annie's here to work, not answer your 20 questions." Marcy rolled her eyes but grinned. "Fine, boss, but I'm just saying, she's a mystery." Anna felt Jack's eyes linger on her for a moment before he turned away. His gaze wasn't hostile, but it wasn't warm either. It was as though he was still trying to figure her out, and she wasn't sure if that was a good thing. By the end of her shift, Anna was exhausted but proud of herself. She had managed to navigate several customer complaints, stock a new shipment of canned goods, and even help an elderly man find his favorite brand of soup. It was a far cry from the boardroom, but it felt surprisingly rewarding. As she was clocking out, Jack appeared beside her. "Not bad today," he said, his tone begrudgingly complimentary. "High praise coming from you," Anna replied, unable to resist a smirk. Jack raised an eyebrow. "Don't get cocky. You've still got a lot to learn." Anna crossed her arms, meeting his gaze. "Then maybe you should teach me." Jack blinked, caught off guard by her directness. "Fine," he said after a pause. "Be here early tomorrow. We'll see if you can handle inventory." "Looking forward to it," Anna said, her tone light but her determination clear. The next morning, Anna arrived at the store before sunrise. Jack was already there, loading boxes into the stockroom. He handed her a clipboard and pointed to a stack of cartons. "Start with those. Match the items to the invoice, and make sure nothing's damaged." Anna nodded, rolling up her sleeves. The work was tedious and physically demanding, but she refused to complain. Jack watched her out of the corner of his eye, seemingly surprised by her resolve. Halfway through the morning, as they worked side by side, Jack broke the silence. "You're not like the others who come and go here," he said, his tone almost curious. "Why are you really doing this?" Anna hesitated, the weight of her secret pressing on her. "I told you, I wanted a change," she said, keeping her answer vague. "I needed to see things differently." Jack didn't look convinced, but he didn't press further. Instead, he handed her a bottle of water. "Well, just remember, this job isn't glamorous, but it's honest, and people notice when you're genuine." The words lingered in Anna's mind long after they returned to work. Genuine. It was a quality she wasn't sure she'd allowed herself to embody in years. For all her success, she had built walls around herself, prioritizing strategy over sincerity. But here, in this unassuming supermarket, she was starting to see the cracks in her own facade. That evening, as Anna packed up to leave, Jack called after her. "Annie." She turned, surprised. Jack rarely addressed her outside of work-related matters. "You did good today," he said, his voice softer than usual. "Keep it up." Anna smiled, a genuine warmth spreading through her chest. "Thanks, Jack. I will." As she walked out into the crisp evening air, she realized something unexpected. She was starting to enjoy her time at Sunshine Supermarket, not just because of the lessons she was learning about her customers, but because of the people, especially Jack. And though she knew her disguise couldn't last forever, Anna couldn't help but wonder how much longer she could keep her secret hidden. The air in Sunshine Supermarket felt heavier that morning. Anna couldn't tell if it was the unusually large shipment of products she had to sort or the way Jack had been watching her recently, his eyes flickering with suspicion. Either way, she felt the pressure mounting. She was walking a fine line, and she knew it. The day began like any other. Anna was stacking shelves in aisle 4 when Marcy appeared. Her face lit up with excitement. "You'll never believe this," Marcy whispered, practically bouncing. "Corporate bigwigs coming to inspect the store today." Anna froze, her stomach twisting into a knot. "Corporate? Why?" Something about the quarterly review, Marcy replied, shrugging. Happens every now and then. Jack's already stressed out about it. Anna forced a smile, her heart racing. If someone from Prescott Enterprises showed up and recognized her, her cover would be blown. She couldn't afford for that to happen. Not now, not when she was starting to understand her customers and, more importantly, Jack. Later, in the break room, Anna overheard Jack giving orders to the staff. His usual calm demeanor was tinged with irritation. Everyone needs to be on their A game, he said firmly. I don't want any mistakes. This inspection is important. Marcy leaned over to Anna and whispered, he only gets like this when he's nervous. You should have seen him the last time corporate came. He was practically growling at everyone. Anna chuckled softly, but couldn't shake her own nerves. She resolved to keep her head down and stay out of sight. By noon, the corporate representative arrived. Anna was in the middle of organizing a display when she heard a familiar voice, a voice that sent a chill down her spine. Mr. Thompson, pleasure to meet you, said Richard, one of Prescott Enterprises' regional managers. He was slick, polished, and entirely too observant for Anna's liking. She ducked behind the display, hoping to avoid his gaze. From her hiding spot, she watched as Richard and Jack shook hands. We appreciate the effort you're putting into promoting Pure Glow, Richard said, glancing around the store. It's a key product for us. Jack crossed his arms. We've been trying, but the price point and marketing aren't resonating with our customers. Richard frowned. Interesting feedback. I'll make a note of that. Anna's heart sank. Hearing Jack critique her product felt like a personal blow, even though she knew he was right. As the day wore on, Anna's luck ran out. Richard spotted her while she was restocking shelves near the checkout. His brow furrowed as he approached. Annie, he said, his voice laced with disbelief. Is that you? Anna's stomach dropped. She forced a laugh, trying to play it off. No, you must have me confused with someone else. But Richard wasn't buying it. Miss Prescott, what on earth are you doing here? Before Anna could respond, Jack appeared, his eyes narrowing as he looked between them. Prescott, what's going on? Anna opened her mouth, but no words came out. Richard, oblivious to the tension, continued. She's Anna Prescott, the CEO of Prescott Enterprises. Jack's jaw tightened, his face a mixture of anger and disbelief. You've been lying to us this whole time? It's not what it looks like. Anna said quickly, stepping toward him. I can explain. Jack held up a hand, stopping her. Don't. Just don't. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Anna tried to talk to Jack multiple times, but he avoided her, his usually warm gaze now cold and distant. She stayed late, hoping to catch him after his shift. When he finally emerged from the stockroom, she blocked his path. Jack, please, she said, her voice trembling. Let me explain. He stopped, but didn't look at her. You lied to me, to all of us. What else is there to say? Anna took a deep breath. I didn't mean to deceive you. I just needed to understand why my product failed. This was the only way I could see the truth. Jack finally met her eyes, his expression hard. And what truth did you find, Anna, that people like me don't matter to CEOs like you? That we're just numbers on a spreadsheet? No, Anna said, her voice rising. I found out that I've been out of touch, that I've been running my company with blinders on. You've shown me what I've been missing. Jack shook his head. It's too late for that. You should have been honest from the start. Anna watched him walk away, her chest tightening with regret. She had come to Sunshine Supermarket to fix her company's problems, but had ended up breaking something far more valuable, Jack's trust. As she stood alone in the dimly lit store, she realized the path ahead wouldn't be easy. But if she wanted to make things right, with her business, with her customers, and with Jack, she'd have to find a way to prove she wasn't the person he thought she was. The next few days at Sunshine Supermarket were cold, not from the weather, but from Jack's silence. Anna went about her shifts like a ghost, painfully aware of the staff's curious glances and Jack's deliberate avoidance. She had thought of quitting, of walking away to avoid the shame, but something kept her rooted there. Maybe it was guilt, or maybe it was something deeper, a desire to prove to Jack and herself that she could be better. One evening, after the store closed, Anna found Jack in the stockroom, sorting inventory. His movements were sharp and precise, a clear sign of his lingering frustration. Summoning her courage, Anna stepped inside. I need to talk to you, she said firmly. Jack didn't look up. There's nothing to say. There is, she insisted. taking a step closer. I messed up, Jack. I lied to you, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But you have to know, I didn't do it to hurt you or anyone here. Jack slammed a box onto the shelf and turned to face her, his expression cold. So why did you do it, Anna? To play detective? To use us as your little experiment? No. Anna's voice cracked with emotion. I did it because I didn't know how else to understand what I was missing. You said it yourself. People like me don't see what it's like for people like you. And you were right. I was blind, Jack, but being here changed that. Jack's eyes softened slightly, though his jaw remained tight. And what exactly did you learn? Anna hesitated, then spoke from her heart. I learned that the price of something isn't just a number. It's the hours someone worked to afford it, the sacrifices they made. I learned that trust is more valuable than any brand. And I learned that people like you, honest, hardworking people, deserve better than what I've been giving. Jack's expression flickered, as if her words were breaking through his defenses, but he shook his head. Words are easy, Anna. Actions are harder. Then let me show you, Anna said, stepping closer. Let me prove that I'm not just some CEO who only cares about profits. I want to make things right with you, with this store, and with every customer I've let down. Jack studied her for a long moment, his gaze searching hers. Finally, he sighed. Fine. You want to make it right? Start by helping with the community food drive tomorrow. Show the people here that you're not just playing a role. The next day, Anna arrived early to help set up the food drive. Tables were stacked with canned goods and fresh produce, all donated by the community and local suppliers. Anna worked tirelessly, greeting every customer who came through and packing bags for families in need. As the day wore on, she noticed Jack watching her from a distance. He didn't say much, but his eyes followed her movements, as if silently evaluating her sincerity. Toward the end of the event, a little girl approached Anna, holding a crumpled dollar bill. Is this enough to get food for my mommy? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Anna knelt down, her heart breaking. You don't need to pay for this, sweetheart. It's all free today. The girl's face lit up, and she ran back to her mother with a bag of groceries. Anna turned to see Jack standing nearby, his expression unreadable. You did good today, he said quietly. Anna straightened, meeting his gaze. Thank you. It felt right. Jack hesitated, then added, You know, people don't care where you come from. They care about what you do. If you really want to make a difference, start listening to them. I will, Anna promised. I've already started. In the weeks that followed, Anna threw herself into rebuilding not only her company's reputation, but also her relationship with Jack. She worked with him and the staff to create a line of affordable, eco-friendly products tailored to the needs of the community. She attended team meetings, listened to feedback, and even made a public apology for her company's previous missteps. Jack remained cautious, but his walls began to crack. He saw how hard Anna was trying, not just for him, but for everyone. One evening, after a particularly successful launch event at the store, Jack found her sitting on the curb outside, watching the sunset. You're not bad at this, he said, sitting beside her. Anna smiled. High praise from you. Jack chuckled, the tension between them easing. I mean it. You've changed, Anna. I didn't think you could, but you proved me wrong. She looked at him, her heart pounding. And what about you? Can you forgive me? Jack didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I'm working on it. It wasn't a full reconciliation, but it was a start. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Anna realized that her time at Sunshine Supermarket had given her something she never expected. A chance to rebuild not just her company, but herself. And with Jack by her side, she felt ready to face whatever came next.